welcome back to Discussion Room 95. If you guys are seeing us for the first time, welcome, and we hope you can stay with us throughout this episode and season and forever. And together with me,
Forever, guys.
Forever.
together with me are some unfamiliar faces. Would you guys mind introducing yourselves first, please?
Okay, so hello everyone. Again, some of you might know me because I am a first-time host for the show, but my name is Erin. I am a first-year political economy student, and I'm super excited to tackle today's topic, guys. Woo!
Wow, I'm so excited too. I'm also nervous. Next.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Ezekiel Pili. I'm a second-year BSBA student, and I'm also the head of research in DR95.
Wow.
And I'm single, by the way. Just
Wow,
for
head of research.
Okay, guys,
Top
please
position. I'm an unfamiliar face, but hi, my name's Ramon Almon. You can call me Rock. I'm a first-year media and entertainment management student, and I am part of the content team. And my first time here.
Yay! Thank you
Nice
for
and
that, you
raw.
guys. And I am Rafi Leon. I'm a first-year MEM student, and I will be your main host for tonight. Okay, let's hope that will be fun.
Let's go, Raf.
Okay, guys. Oh my gosh, you know what? It's already day 67 of the
Keeping
ECQ.
count?
Can you imagine? Yeah, guys.
What?
Man.
You
I count
counted?
every day. I keep track.
I think
Oh
it's
my God.
60.
No, it's 67.
Feel
Okay,
ko
anyway.
66 pa
Oh,
lang.
it's 67.
No, sorry, it's 67. I'm right. I'm kidding, but okay. So
Or is it
we
16?
have witnessed the transition from the ECQ to the MECQ, okay? And that has been from there we have been experiencing so many changes already. For sure, our living situations have changed, okay? So even if
Oh,
the
yeah,
outside
definitely.
world
Oh,
has
yeah.
changed, right? It has been evident in our lives. So like from waking up early every day to like what? Waking up at around lunchtime. Does that go the same for you guys too?
A bit further.
What?
Like maybe after
No.
lunch. you know.
After lunch!
Oo
Yeah,
naman.
bit
After,
better.
after lunch din ako. Actually, dinner na ako nagigising, guys. That's
Actually, I never wake up.
What?
Oh.
I sleep normally, but
Guys, I'm
Actually-
like, every day! Diba?
every
Actually,
day.
ako kasi I'm trying to
Or every
conserve
week.
water, eh. That's why siguro mga
No.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about the
I'm
people,
gonna-
you know?
Oh no.
Okay, guys.
No,
Guys, relax.
that's not conserving
Okay, so that being said, we have set our foot down and said that our lives definitely have changed. And with that, we were able to contact 3 of our fellow schoolmates, fellow dragons, to share with us how their lives have changed. So here we have Nina, Talitha, and Franco. And this is The Room.
Hi, I'm Nina Salazar, taking up media and entertainment management. It was March 11 when my sister and I went back home because of the coronavirus. And I believe I can speak for a lot of people when we say that no one really foreshadowed this to happen. You know, the gravity and how long this will take. It really affected the dynamics of a person's life in terms of academics, work life, extracurriculars, and even one's life at home. Like I said, no one really foreshadowed this. So I really applaud the universities for trying to find a way within a short span of time for us students to continue learning and studying. And this goes for us as well. In fairness, mahirap matuto sa laptop screen or any gadget that you have. In fact, I myself experienced unstable Wi-Fi because nagkaroon ng complications or something. And it was very challenging because you don't know when a professor would give an announcement. You don't know if there was an assignment posted. It was like you were in a very dark room and you don't know where you are or what step you should take in. It was like you were alone. Parang ganun. And I know no one really wants to be in that position. So I really hope that no one is really experiencing that right now. But when I talk about the org life, it's a whole different story because this semester I was supposed to be a project head alongside 2 amazing people. But because of the coronavirus, it didn't push through. And being the EVP for finance, I was so proud because I got to achieve my dream. I got to garner a lot of sponsors, and they were really good ones. But it got flushed down the drain because of this. But don't worry, because we thought of another alternative, and we wanted to help the people who were very close to our heart. Thankfully, that initiative was a success. In fact, speaking of the good things, I'm very amazed and happy that a lot of our members in our organization were very willing to help those people. It really shows how, a lot of people want to show care and love towards others, especially those who needed help. And seeing the gratitude that came from the people who we've helped, sobrang nakakataba ng puso. Parang ibang usapan siya. And, still speaking of good things, I think this can relate to some people with regards to the ECQ family dynamics. Because, you literally have everyone in one house. And coming from a big family, there's never a dull time. In fact, I spend a lot of time with my siblings, especially with my baby sister. Look, Leah, say hi. Yeah, we bake a lot, and the outcomes may not be as great, but it's totally fine. Learning is a process, and we should really stick to the good things in life, right, Leah? She totally agrees. And I feel like this is something we can actually take away during this pandemic, because this unfortunate time is already enough as it is. So sticking to the positive and thinking about those good things, and talking with good people who radiate positive energy, I think it will make a whole difference with how we are battling the coronavirus.
Hi, my name is Talitha Carlos, a 36YP IMC student. The enhanced community quarantine, or this pandemic in general, has certainly affected a ton amount of people. Personally, as a student myself, it affected the way I cope up with my studies, and the fact that there are other things to be considered aside from the curricular aspect of the university makes it a little bit more difficult or more challenging, to look at it positively, for us to actually fulfill the duties and responsibilities that we have in our organizations. For instance, to be a part of the project management team and to be given the opportunity to handle the UA&P merchandising committee sounds a little impossible in this crisis, given that we really focus on being hands-on and directly serving the students. And that is where the question pops: how will we be able to do that if everything is limited? It might be different for those whose vision and mission are really for the means of charity, but even then, it's hard for them. The ECQ being lifted or modified doesn't necessarily mean that we can do everything that we want, because aside from the responsibilities that we have as students and as part of those organizations, it is also our responsibility to become a citizen of the world. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Franco Gaite, and I'm a 36YP student taking up IMC, and I'm also a member of the UA&P futsal team. Now, I think I speak on behalf of all other varsities and clubs when I say that we regret not being able to play for the university. But at the same time, I think that we all understand how important it is to stay at home for everyone's safety. Now, ever since the implementation of the ECQ, everybody's life definitely changed. But as a member of a varsity, I think it feels especially awkward, not being able to train that often anymore. Aside from all the other things that I had to get used to with regards to academics and org life, I think the fact that we don't know when the next tournament's gonna happen makes it kind of hard to stay motivated. In fact, the last time I was in PSP was probably during the opening of MM. I remember watching Squadra perform, and they were really good. They ended up winning first place, and it really motivated my team because we also wanted to make the school proud. But because of the ECQ, sadly everything was cancelled. So right now we train twice a week. But the thing about online training is that it can only do so much. It's hard not being able to spend time with your team because you can't really hang out or work on your team dynamic. Not to mention, there's no one there to get mad at you when you distract yourself with Netflix or video games. But despite all of this, you can really see that a lot of us are putting effort into training. Just look at the men's basketball team's IG account. Or, if you look at IG, you'll probably find a lot of mastered choreo vids by squadron members. Now, those are the only videos that I've seen so far. Those are the only efforts that I've seen so far. But I'm sure all the other varsities are working really hard as well. Thanks, guys.
And we're back. Thank you guys so much
Hello.
for that. Wow.
Yes.
Those were so insightful. My gosh, from the living situations at home by Nina to fulfilling roles in orgs by Talitha and keeping up with the varsity life at home by Franco.
Yeah.
Wow. No doubt that even we personally experience these challenges, diba? And these changes. And it's
yeah.
really inevitable. Because honestly, I can relate to them. Can you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's very super relatable. Like
Diba?
every single part.
Right? So like for example, for Nina, she talked about her living situation at home. And I honestly got to relate to the fact that I was able to spend so much more time with my siblings. And I just feel so lucky that I live in a house and in one way or another, I can still go out with my siblings, like in the village, okay? Not like out, but like in the village,
Yeah.
we
Wait,
jog
Becca.
around, we go to the field to play, and I know I can only imagine what it's like for like people living in the condominiums. Like, isn't
Well,
that- yeah,
maybe
how is that?
I
How you
could
guys?
pipe in, okay.
Yeah,
So
go.
yeah, I live in obviously it's a 20-story condo. It's 2 towers.
gosh.
I live in the middle of
cannot.
BGC. It's
Okay.
one thing is very interesting,
Oh.
and I will like point it out first of all. Obviously, when you live with a whole bunch of people in one single building, the admins have to do a lot of work to keep everyone in order. So the moment that they announced like the overall, like even before like the first announcement, they instantly put a regulation that said only limited amount of people can come out of the building. So that basically meant you had to get a pass. In BGC, what our mayor has done is that he's released a sort of quarantine pass of sorts. So every building, every household, every family has to get at least 2. So the main line was for the past few months, we've only ever been able to have like 1 person out the house. Which, if you consider it, again, for most condominiums, they usually have a swimming pool or a playground or an outdoors area. Yeah, so for ours, we call it the podium. So essentially in the podium, it's just one big open space. And they've been able to do a thing where they schedule each tower to go out at a certain time.
Oh
so
my
obviously,
gosh.
yeah, so mine,
Yeah. We also have something like
so mine, when we go out after
In your house?
that. Secret.
No,
So-
but I can actually
Yes, yeah,
I
go,
can, I can actually relate to Rock, guys, because I also live in a condo. So like, it's like a very closed community, and like with Rock, we actually need a permit to go out, and only one person per unit can use that permit. So like we're not really allowed to go outside yet. I mean, even though like we're already transitioning into MECQ, parang very strict pa rin with the guidelines here sa condo namin. Because guys, okay, to tell you honestly, some of the residents here actually tested positive for
Oh my
the
God.
coronavirus, right? So
Oh.
we really wanted
no.
to make our unit really, or sorry, rather our condo really wanted to make sure na we have everything under control. So nung time na yon, when somebody contracted the disease, parang what they did was imbes na pinapalabas yung person na yon, actually mga groceries din i-deliver na sa tenant na yun to avoid interacting with other people and
Yeah,
further
that's
spreading the
smart.
virus. And we even had to disinfect the area. Like the whole unit had to undergo like disinfecting and like just cleaning the whole place. And yeah, it's really strict na, and it's really different compared to before there's a virus. And ayun nga, since we're in a close community, as much as possible, ayaw kaming palabasin masyado kasi like may malapit na market sa amin, right? So with that, what our condo did, or what our unit did, was that meron ng maliliit na market booths just like within the condo para hindi na talaga lumabas to buy the groceries. So as to, para really to make sure na hindi na mag-worsen yung case inside the unit.
Yeah.
What would you really?
Kasi I also used to live in a condo.
Okay.
It's actually near the school. And marami ang naririnig. They're starting to implement very strict guidelines. They're starting to disinfect a lot of things. But thank God, before the lockdown started, I moved back to my province in Tarlac. In here naman, it's medyo relaxed naman to a certain point. But same guidelines, same rules. In my house, where I actually live alone, I also disinfect naman everything kahit di ako naliligo every day. I try to
Responsible.
disinfect.
Yeah,
At least
yeah,
yung bahay
yeah.
malinis, diba?
Kaya pala, I was
But
smelling so
that's
many.
another topic.
That's another topic
No,
for
but at least,
discussion.
as a first-time host, thank you very much for DI95, no? Finally, maligo na ako.
It's a
This month.
Finally,
privilege,
guys,
no? It's an
honor.
disinfected na yung
Thank you,
sarili
guys.
niya.
This is all-
Finally.
This is all thanks to you, my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, kasi Interlock, within my town at least,
Okay.
very relaxed sila. People go out all the time.
Oh
I don't.
gosh.
Well, I go out sometimes, but
Ano ba
people
yan?
usually go out.
When you go out, I just said kanina diba?
Okay, guys, relax.
Easy,
Everybody
easy.
calm down.
Never mind.
I'm kidding, I'm just
Malay mo
worried.
lumabas si PD for
I just
groceries, Rap.
Joke lang.
Let him explain.
Yeah, okay. Only for
Go,
the
Pili, go.
essentials, okay?
Okay, Pili, you may proceed.
Yeah, for only the essentials. Pero I do relate to Nina when she said na it's a very radical change from yung condo ko na maliit
Oh my
to a
god.
house in the middle of nowhere, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Sobrang, it's a really big change for me kasi number one, getting food, I mean, cooking, I can actually start cooking na, I can do a lot of
Wow.
things, pero hindi pa rin ako naliligo.
Wow.
That's the
Housemaid, pero di naligo.
So may
Man.
same pa rin.
Pero legit, I feel
No.
like I understand where you're coming from naman. Because I have a lot of, I was lucky enough naman that we're fine where we are. But I know a lot of people who've shared a lot of stories. It's just so striking kasi. Because obviously we're urban centers, even around school. It's very dense. So the moment you just go to like a province, and I'm not gonna say and it's for everywhere, but the fact that it's a less amount of people, so a less chance of contracting coronavirus and less awareness of it. It's like, damn, like where am I now? Like I don't know if it's with you, but I feel that.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
also relate to what Pili said. Okay, so like, and Nina.
Hindi naliligo,
Kasi-
right?
Excuse me, I
Yes,
think
we
about
got
it
it, we
every
got
day.
it.
Guys, I think about it every day. My
It's
gosh.
cool.
Guys, we
Okay,
keep
any
going back to
Ubers,
not taking a
going
bath.
back to the Rome. Okay, so
Yeah.
I also used to stay in a dorm, and like transferring back home really was a big adjustment for me, especially na it was like what mid-sem, diba, na we had to transfer. And I guess I'm just lucky enough that I have a study room here where my siblings and I have our own work areas, because even if I can only imagine those who don't actually have workspaces. Those just who end up taking
Yeah,
space from their
actually,
dinner tables or
um,
studying on their beds. That's super hard. How about you? Yeah. What do you
Yeah, when you mentioned workspaces, I actually got curious kasi did you hear what Franco said that varsities really try to maintain their schedules or workout routines?
Yeah, definitely.
Personally, I work out. Thank you for noticing. But I'm actually curious for Rocky and
I was
Aaron
gonna
as,
bring it up.
as
Grabe,
volleyball
sorry.
Actually, I
as
don't know this
volleyball
workout,
varsities.
Pili.
I mean,
Whoa, relax.
Joke lang.
as volleyball
Come
varsities. I
on.
mean, how do you guys? How's your schedule
Actually,
like?
yeah, same. I want to know.
Okay.
What's your
Okay,
like,
so with
stuff?
that, guys,
Okay.
so our coach actually, me and Rafi are teammates, guys, in case y'all didn't know.
Done. We're doomed.
What? No, but seriously, guys. Actually, our coach gave us like a routine, like a workout routine
Yes.
to follow already. But honestly, it's kind of hard, guys. So again, I live in a condo. So like, it's, super hectic here right now. And like, ang daming boxes, ang daming ganito. So like, my workspace area is super
Limited. Yeah.
And guys, again, my parents, they're really strict. Like, I really cannot go out. They're like, no, bawal ka lumabas. I can't even jog here kasi it's not yet allowed here in our unit. So parang, as much as I want to maintain my physical fitness, kasi nga, again, I'm part of the varsity, it's really hard in this situation. Especially since, again, I live in a condo. So parang, medyo mahirap. But again, I try to find an alternative, like what
That's
what
good.
I can do para kahit paano I can adjust to the situation. I can't just be idle and like, okay, I can't
Yeah,
do
exactly.
that, might not do anything, diba? So, yeah, I'm trying to adjust to the whole.
Shout out to our UA&P varsities out there. Diba?
That's
Even
true.
Yeah.
despite the lockdown, they still continue their trainings, like whether it be through Zoom calls or just giving
What's
us
a
our routine.
team? Yeah, they're doing online workout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And like
all
our
of them actually ata, no?
Most.
yeah, guys,
majority.
Guys,
for us, Erin and I, we are part of the women's volleyball team. Okay, and
Oh.
like what?
Diga!
Yeah,
Diga,
dude,
Rafi.
we are. But
Oh my god.
like
Oh my god.
like what Franco said, guys, it's really hard to stay motivated knowing that our tournaments our tournament our
Ano meron sa tournaments, Rafi? Ano meron sa tournaments?
tournaments have been
So, tournaments.
postponed
Tournaments.
indefinitely.
That's true.
Yeah.
Diba,
Which
it's
is
super hard.
so sayang. Kasi parang
Yeah, guys, it's so guys,
the build
it's so
up. Like,
yeah, oh my gosh. Guys, if you think about it, this is our first time reaching the semifinals. Guys, congratulate us
Man.
naman. Ano ba yan?
Oo nga,
Hello?
pati
Oh, yeah, congrats.
Oh my god.
Guys, ano?
Oh my god, semifinals.
Yeah,
Sayang yun. The fact
That's
that
like
we're
before the
so
finals.
hard.
finals. So, biglang na-cancel yung tournament.
Exactly. Like,
It.
anyway, but
Yeah, well, I can't relate to you guys since I'm not part of a varsity, but I also
Looks like
really
you're part
struggled with
chess.
maintaining my schoolwork because I've been so used to the environment in the condo. I can go to the library anytime. I can go to Starbucks, but I'm
Hey.
in the middle of nowhere here in Tarlac, so I really can't go anywhere.
Oh man.
It's really hard to maintain your regular schedule when you experience such a radical change in environment.
No,
So
absolutely.
I'm actually curious. How about you, Rock? How do you keep up with the schoolwork?
For me, I'm actually very the way I see it, the way I put it, kasi I don't really like talking about it much. But when I do, the thing with
sorry.
this lockdown, no, it's okay. Di naman personal.
Sorry, Rock, sorry.
So, ayun na eh.
That's great.
Okay lang. This is from the heart.
No pressure.
No pressure. But with me and my situation, I always take and I'm sure a lot of people share my sentiment that I always take this kind of situation, even if it's not common, just the fact that I have such a limited space now. I feel like if I don't do something new with it and consistent, it's like I'm wasting that time that's given to me. So obviously with me, I'm limited to my condo unit. It's not huge or anything, but the things I work out. I've started cooking. And strange enough, okay, like legit, are you guys on the same level with me? Like,
yeah.
I find chores really
No.
soothing.
Now you're spending more time with your families. You're spending more time with your hobbies. Do you think that parang you tend to lose control over your responsibilities in terms of school, in terms of your orgs and such? Since you're allotting more time on other things.
That's the thing.
Go ahead, yeah.
Like what Talitha brought up, diba? It's about fulfilling
Okay, go on.
It's about
Go on.
fulfilling her duties and responsibilities in orgs. Diba? If you think about it, one of the orgs I'm part of is PMT. I'm in the same as her and you, Rock, and you, Erin. And
yeah.
we all know that
okay.
there was the
Maybe I'll join next year.
Next year lang. Next
Sorry.
year.
We're in the same org,
Apply
TR95.
ka na lang next
Apply ka
time.
na, PUD.
Yeah,
Join
guys,
Team
like,
Bravo.
Water boy
Okay,
lang.
and you,
I'll do anything.
okay, and we all know that the much awaited event being the Unitas Games was
Oh,
cancelled,
yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, what can you say about that?
Man.
I mean, personally, I was part of the marketing committee, and we have been working since the UGBL, since the basketball league. So I wouldn't say that a lot of our efforts have gone to waste, but like, speaking for the other committees, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the efforts also were
Yeah,
flushed down
man.
the,
I had
the
to
drain.
cut
Yeah,
like
I-
8
Back to-
different
like,
figures.
Nina also brought that up, right?
Yeah.
Like she was finance for a certain project, and
Yeah,
apparently it just went to waste. Actually, no.
No,
She
but-
said na she found an alternative, right?
Yeah, but
Super
okay,
good.
but then
Yeah.
so for our case, like since PMT rin, our team handled like the sponsorships and stuff like that. So we were handling the sponsorships of
Okay.
like the event, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Ayun, ang dami naming nakuha sponsors from these like
I can imagine.
establishments. And then, guys, I managed to even raise funds only to find out na na-cancel yung UG. So imagine
Yeah,
like
it's so
all of
heartbreaking
that.
now.
Of course, we had to like contact the sponsors again to parang to apologize kasi
Oh,
nga
rough.
pandemic and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we had to contact our sponsors one by one to apologize kasi nga hindi natuloy yung UG. So yeah, guys, imagine all that effort, especially in terms of like yung money and stuff. Like,
Yeah, of course.
it's a waste of effort.
Yeah,
And,
for
like,
on my part, it was so bad because I had to cut out like 8 Space Invaders, and then the next day I can't use them anymore because
What?
in production.
What's this? What?
what is
In- in-
Space Invaders?
In production, right, is part of the production team behind the Unitas games, right? So our
Okay.
job was to cut out certain things.
Is this like
And so-
logistics or something?
Okay. You mean like okay.
Yeah, I'm,
Sorry,
I'm
I got
testing you.
confused.
What's
I was
the
like,
team?
What are you
Space
talking
Invaders.
about?
What is it?
What's going on?
Sorry,
So,
Rock, we lost
yeah.
you there.
Logistics, it's when you cut stuff
Okay,
out
okay,
and
yeah,
you
Okay, I'm
set
so
everything up, right? So production logistics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was really, suddenly put to a halt.
Yeah.
Kasi org work, schoolwork is always continuous, and it was really planned out for the year.
yeah.
But suddenly this thing came. So, do you guys think? Well, for the most part, kasi video calls are our main source of connection,
Yeah.
diba? So, do you think like hanggang next year, puro video calls lang ba?
Oh my
Yun na ba yung-
gosh,
Yeah.
guys.
Is that the new normal? Like
I mean,
video calls lang,
I
messenger.
wanna hug you guys already. I don't think I can. I don't know. I don't think I can.
I mean, if
Sobrang
anyone
arte.
else wants to like bring it up, because like it's interesting that you bring that up because now the fact that we have to adjust to the time where we're only gonna see the people we know on a screen. It's been okay for like 3 months or 2 months, sorry, but if you try to extend that forward, I don't know, it's surreal. Like the fact that I can't,
like- You feel the need to, be with your friends. And I think
Yeah.
that's the luxury of having big groups as support systems. Like here we have DR95, we have our orgs, I have the varsity, you guys also have the varsity, PMT. And I think that it was really there for something. It's meant to keep us
Yeah.
busy, and it's meant to keep us like sane, diba? I mean, after all, we still are doing a lot of things. And I think I also like the question that Talitha popped up. It was how will we be able to do these? Like how will we be able to fulfill our duties and responsibilities in school if everything is limited? Which is true. Like we really have to consider that. Like we're stuck in this we're stuck in the internet. We only see each other through situations. Really do change your priorities. Like if it was if we were in school right now, our priority would be school. Our priority would be in the orgs, fulfilling these projects and stuff. But now that we're dealing we're dealing with a crisis. Our priority is our health, right? And we have to learn how to set aside all of these projects and responsibilities and focus on our health and focus on our family. Because after all, this is the concern of the entire world.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ravi, because right now, one of the biggest challenges that we face is or the people face in general, is trying to protect themselves and their families while still trying
Yeah.
to the responsibilities that they need to accomplish. I mean, for our case, as students, right, para okay, may pandemic, and as much as we want to be with our family and try to make sure everyone is okay, we still need to remind ourselves that we're still students, we still have these tasks that we need to accomplish. So I really agree na parang even if there's a pandemic going on, that doesn't necessarily mean na parang everything stops. Like we have to adjust.
Yeah.
and-
I want to
But just
add to
then,
that.
I wanna
Okay,
like
yes,
counter.
go Rock.
It's okay. Yeah, I want to counter that real quick
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
because
okay.
I appreciate the point that you brought up about how things can stop because obviously
Yeah.
they can't. But at the
Yeah.
same time, do you think that we should prioritize the inherent mental health of people? Because again, you have to. I mean, we all have to understand that a pandemic. Would you thought that would have happened at 2020? So it's such a new situation that brings about so many factors that. As much as we all should continue to move forward, do you think that we should continue to at least highlight just how straining this is for everyone? Because I feel like that's important.
Well,
Okay.
I
Okay.
personally I agree with Erin to a certain extent, okay? But
Certain
I'll-
extent lang, certain
Just-
extent.
yeah. Let me clear this out before I give my opinions. I'm strictly addressing here the significant number of people that are lucky, that are privileged enough
yeah,
not to worry about their health, not to worry about their safety, and are really lucky enough to be bored in their homes. Look, I agree with Erin. Life doesn't stop here. I mean, the pandemic wouldn't extend your life just because it took a few months away from you. You have the responsibility to keep yourselves going, to continue to develop yourself, not only just because in the middle of a pandemic you have to help everyone out, but
Yeah.
when we do go back to our normal lives, kailangan mas you should have grown from the time you were
exactly.
stuck in your
You
homes.
sh-
Okay.
Diba?
Yeah, you should have grown. We really should use this time to our advantage, diba? Now that time, I mean, we have the liberty of deciding where we're gonna put our time. We have
Yeah.
to discipline ourselves and be prudent about that, diba? And yeah, I really do agree that it doesn't stop right here. And I wanna relate that to what Franco said about being part of a team, because I'm also part of a team, and I think that this whole pandemic, it's not about us taking a break from the team. For example, it's about us being part of a much bigger team, if we think about it, which is
Yeah.
our community. And even if we know it's not gonna be an easy fight, we can win this battle if we put all the extra effort. So that's how it goes also. I mean, I want to relate that also to the varsity life, because after all, everyone is putting the same effort, right? We are sticking to our roles. We're controlling the mindset that we have. And I think it's time to put that to use that to our advantage at the situation now, in the situation now. And that's being part of the community, because after all, we're still a team. Like, all together we're trying to fight this battle. So if we put on that winning mindset, we should be able to play in the present. We should be able to win. WIN, meaning what's important now. We have to focus on that. And
Man,
I
oh
love
my
that.
god. Wow. really?
Well,
But that's what I
wait.
really
win.
Yeah, dude, guys.
Rafi,
What's important now? That's how you win, okay?
Gosh, oh my
Don't
guys,
think about
I
the
have a,
team.
I have a question though.
Yeah, okay.
Guys, since Rafi, you said na everyone's doing their part, would it be tone deaf to say na there are really some people that consider this to be a parang summer vacation, parang winter vacation, like
Okay.
wala akong gagawin sa bahay just because walang pasok.
Where are we? Where are
Nasa
we?
tayo, Pili. Nasa Pilipinas tayo.
Guys,
Bakit
ang
may
lamig,
ka?
no?
Christmas
Guys,
break, Christmas
winter
break.
lang.
Okay.
Ano ba? There's winter there.
Oh, yeah, we have winter here. I
Guys,
mean,
ano ba?
So cold.
We consider
But-
it naman.
Vacation, okay?
Okay,
no,
yes.
kasi personally,
Yes,
I
we
know
do.
a few people that, I mean, of course, they offhandedly said some things, but you do have to take into consideration na sinabi nila, since wala naman pasok, since wala naman tayong kailangan gawin, should we just lay in our homes, do whatever we want, and
Yeah.
siguro not be productive or anything? I mean, what do you guys think?
That's the thing. That's why okay, so diba they're also able to access social media and stuff. And I think it's about time also that they change their mindset and be like, look at all these people. I mean, of course we can't assure that, but then it's really about our job, like, now to spread awareness and make sure na, guys, there are people out there sacrificing their lives for us, and here we are. What are we doing? Are we even being productive?
No, no,
So I think it's also about,
yeah.
like, this time is also a time of reflection.
Absolutely.
If we're able to use the time to our advantage, to the community's advantage.
Yeah, it's also I think, I wouldn't say it's an obligation, but definitely there is merit to people who just can't really handle the pressure. Obviously, like everyone's been saying naman, we just have to keep our best foot forward, because if we don't, then everything falls apart. But at the same time, now should be the time where everyone is willing to reach their hand out and to just assist anyone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people naman, obviously, from my vantage point naman, a lot of people are very privileged to be bored, or a lot of people are privileged enough to stay safe naman in a time like this. For people that need that time, I feel like their voices haven't been brought out enough yet to really validate the word that people are finding it hard to keep up. So if anything, now's the best time, especially that we're transitioning into this modified ECQ, that instead of just shouting back at these people to say, we just gotta keep going, let's just keep trying to extend our hand and keep trying to say
Yeah.
we can't put ourselves in your position, but at the same time we have our own perspectives that we might be able to use to help you. Like, you get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
this whole wave of just keep going. It's leaving so many people behind that I feel like we should just try to help as much as we can. Like, I don't know about
I
you
think
guys.
when we also mean by we keep going, it's not like what you said. We have to be able to bring people along with us, and that's, guys, that's how it is to be in a team. And again, we are in a community
Man.
team,
Here
right?
it is.
We help each other.
No, it's okay, Pili.
We're your teammates. Okay, anyway, I'd just like to move this topic to a much bigger scale, or in this sense, the community. Our everyday interactions with the community, right? Talking about being part of the team. We have noticed the changes, like going out to the grocery, or right? Have you guys witnessed the having to wait in line because there's a maximum number of people
Man,
who are allowed in the grocery? I haven't.
Well, I do applaud
You
those
guys-
people na you do see in social media,
Yeah,
diba?
yeah.
Yeah,
There are
Some
long
news,
lines.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I specifically want to address this. The post in social media that you see na yung malls puno ng tao.
Yeah.
The streets are packed with cars. I mean, guys, what do you I mean, okay, the rules are more relaxed now, but are we given the full liberty of going back to what we consider to be our normal lives?
Okay.
Exactly, no. Okay, go Erin.
Okay. So yun nga, guys, right? We're transitioning into the modified ECQ. Ibig sabihin, that doesn't necessarily mean, okay guys, pwede na kayo lumabas, wala ng virus. The virus is still
It's still there.
So, yes, okay, I feel like this is the transition to MECQ. It's just a way para, okay, hindi naman pwede na as a society, parang naka-lockdown na tayo forever and like the businesses, establishments stop working. Like, this is the society trying to adjust to the pandemic. So, ibig sabihin, as we're trying to adjust, ibig sabihin, hindi naman dapat parang, okay, back to normal, guys. There's some protocols we need to follow. So, I don't
Yeah,
get
it's a continuous thing.
Yeah, and yun na nga, so sa mga malls, sa mga pharmacies, groceries, stuff like that, they can operate, but not at like full capacity. Parang, up until now, I don't know, maybe people are just trying to take advantage of the fact na pwede nang lumabas, finally freedom. But then, we should still be sensitive, guys. I mean,
Exactly. I mean,
trying to lessen, but we're trying to lessen like the number of casualties in terms of like people na naapekto ng virus. So, come on, guys. It's be
I think
smart
it's-
about this.
yeah, and then of course we go back to the reason like why the MECQ was implemented, right? It's not necessarily the fact that the virus is complete. Like what you said, Erin, it's still there, guys. The virus is still there. It's still there, and
Saan ba? I feel like I should... Ayun yun.
Asan ba sa babanda?
Yun. Banda sa taas.
okay, wait. Okay, so basically, what it means to say is that there are still some people who can go out, but only for essential needs. Like, okay, there's some people who have to go to work, okay? Honestly, I mean, none of us are working yet, but it's been hard. Like, we have heard stories about people losing their jobs because of this, and I think that's for them, and this is only implemented for certain people, because if you can stay at home, stay at home. A lot of micro entrepreneurs have started to sprout, and it's so amazing because different households, they offer products, they cook bread or
Hey, see? What the heck?
right, like as a
Yeah.
community, everyone has been offering something like a product, like so we can all help each other earn, or like just do something in terms of productivity. And I really find that such an innovative idea to maximize the situation, because in a way, like it benefits not only the community but also themselves.
Just had like a thought pop up. Yeah.
Go
I got your
pop
back,
that.
Pop that, yeah.
What?
It's more of
Okay, anyway, pop that, Rock. Pop that.
Anyway,
pop that thought, yeah. So
let's get back to popping.
get back to
Rock.
popping, yeah. The main thing I wanted to like kind of put in there, when you talked about how all
Yeah.
these new micro businesses were popping up in BGC, kasi I'm sure it's in a lot of more urban centers, they've actually
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain if it's from, let's say, Grab or Lalamove, but a lot of public transport drivers, they've been given the chance to act as middlemen in delivering goods.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Oh,
our
yeah, yeah.
in our
Yeah,
town
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
least, they put up a system where they've contacted many of the buildings and condos, and admins relayed this message of, if you want to find an extra source of, let's say, groceries, or let's say, other
Yeah.
stuff like that, these people who were out of a job just like 2 months ago have the chance to make income now. So I feel like it's a very,
Exactly.
yeah, like I feel you there. I get you.
Right? Gosh, I
Well,
feel you too, Rob.
that the emergence of okay, the way I see it, the emergence of those micro businesses are just one of the byproducts of the lockdown, diba? The whole situation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
do you guys think even after this whole thing subsides, babalik tayo sa dati, or I mean, all of our interactions will change? Kasi honestly, the way I see it, pag ako nakalabas na ulit, I mean, as in every day, I'd still be wary of simple things like touching surfaces, or
Yeah.
I would still be washing my hands every 5 seconds, but
Yeah.
not my body,
Yeah.
but still washing my hands every 5 seconds.
Please,
So-
have mercy.
Yeah, please stop bringing back the topic that you don't
You're
take a
so-
bath. We get it.
So yeah, washing hands, man.
It's a joke, guys.
So yeah.
But
Honestly, I
what,
find-
what do you guys
yeah.
think? Even when we go back to school, okay, some students will have micro businesses, diba? But everything, not just micro businesses, everything about the aspects of normal life will be completely different. What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
I think it's all about applying everything that we've learned or we've done throughout like the past 2 months. And that is going to be the one that will form our new routines, our new normal. Because technically, it's about, it's going to be so new to us for sure, right? It's going to be like when it's going to be so new. And we may not be used to it, but we have to accept that that's how things are going to be. Right? I mean, these micro businesses, I honestly think this would have such a big impact also on the macro businesses, because we wouldn't be so reliant on them anymore. So it's we have to discuss like if this new normal, if it's supposed to be the way it is, right? I mean, we can already definitely say that it changed so much. It changed us, and we know it's gonna change our future or what's to come, and it's gonna be so uncertain.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, what do you
I
guys have to say?
I mean, just for a little bit of insight, Rin, it's very.
Yeah.
That's the thing with this like new normal. It's a surreal thing to think about because I don't think anyone can be sure of what to do next. Like if you
Yeah.
try to bring it, like what you said, macro businesses, like big corporations, they don't really know what to do yet because how are we gonna adjust with the policies our government is giving us? And that's where I kind of want to steer it real quick, if you don't mind. This whole idea of new normal, there's a very big difference between what's simple new normal and what, I'll say it now, what the government is calling the new normal. I think we can all understand and agree to a point that at a time like this, there are better ways to go about making policies. And as of now, a lot of people, in fact, I've seen a big number of people kind of going against this idea of we can't adjust because we're living in a time that's not even stable anymore. Like we don't have the sufficient regulations, we don't have this and that. But to bring it to a simple new normal, like how we just have to figure out as human beings, as people ourselves, for us and our loved ones, like what you said, Pili, how you brought it up, that interactions going forward are going to be really different. But it's so important that we do bring it up because if we don't now, we're going to be pretty lost. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but I wanted to bring it out there.
And just to add, like we can't always rely on technology. I mean, for my case, like how I interact with my relatives, parang everyday video calls, ganyan. And as much as I appreciate, the technology we have today, na parang kahit may pandemic, we're still able to talk with one another. Siyempre, it's still not the same compared to having to see each other on like a day-to-day basis. And I feel like we really have to try and compromise with like the pandemic and how our lives were back then before the pandemic. It's about finding like a middle ground, and parang we can still do things that we're used to, but still having to take into consideration now we're still in the middle of trying to solve like how we'll like overcome the virus, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's me, my take on it.
You have anything to say, Pili?
Um, look, I agree with you guys again to a certain extent, but honestly, the way I see it, the old normal will never go back. I mean, this is just the normal for the better part of the year, maybe even until next year. So I think personally, people should start discussing what that new normal should be and start adhering to it. Because honestly, to bring back my recent point, um, a lot of people are starting to get idle. A lot of people are starting to get agitated, maybe, but still, apathy is the way I see it. Apathy is currently on the rise, and that can be easily solved by setting down a few set of rules that we can stay with,
Yeah.
at least in terms of staying normal under these circumstances.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. And that it's gonna be hard, like for sure. We know it's gonna be hard. And like they have the government or like malls or these macro businesses have already actually set out guidelines. Like for example, people aged 21 to 59 years old, they won't be allowed to go out.
Yeah.
Like us. I am below 21 and I'm actually so scared. I mean, it's just sad how I won't see you guys again in like the next coming years.
Yeah.
Really. Diba? And I mean, we're gonna have to go through like the screening process. Pretend upon entering malls, so we're gonna have to go through that screening process of the temperature. There's a no mask, no entry policy. We have to maintain at least 1 meter distance apart.
Kilometer. Meter.
1 meter.
1 meter.
Okay. Okay, sige.
Anyway, those and then like pretend no product test. Okay, doesn't really matter anymore. But all I'm trying to say is that it's kind of sad how it's not gonna be the same anymore again, like for the next few years. And we really just we have to live up to that. We have to accept that. And it's really all just about continuing everything that we have been doing, following the health guidelines, wearing masks, keeping the distance, frequent hand washing, right? Isn't it so? It's really so uncertain, and I can't even imagine how it's gonna be like after this.
Yeah.
And when we're in that new normal.
The whole point, I guess, of like what we've been all collectively talking about is, again, it's not something easy to think about, but it's something that we need to talk about. So I guess moving forward, just to collectively agree, we need to have a set standard here moving forward with this whole modified way of living now. If anything, if we can't think of any specific program yet, let's at least set a few rules, So obviously with your suggestion, with the first thing we've seen, which were the malls, again, we just have to do our part in spreading information, making sure people are aware of the current situation instead of just leaving them with dead air. Like, you guys know how deadly that can be. It's pretty tough.
Yeah. And I think that it is really only in times like this where we can make a decision on what we choose to do for ourselves or for the country. Right?
Yeah.
Before the COVID, we never bothered if any of our actions will help the country. We go to the malls because we want to. We go out, we meet friends, we go to hang out.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
Life
Pili.
never
Well,
changed.
okay, that's for all pala. Sorry.
We're indoors.
But
never go
there,
outside.
diba? I mean, we never thought of that. We never had to think of anyone else. But now we are put in that situation that we have to decide not only for ourselves but for the country, really. That sounds so heroic, guys, but we're all gonna be heroes at the end.
Yeah.
Heroes.
Not
True, right?
all heroes wear capes, guys. So,
No. See, that's why I mean, no one really wanted this to happen, but what are we gonna do about it? We have to decide for ourselves, and that's why I find this this pandemic as a wake up call talaga to how we use our time. And time really is in our hands. We have to discipline and be prudent about what our next moves are gonna be, because we know that this will be a domino effect for sure. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna affect everyone else. And I think it's only fair how we should do our part and help each other make this as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you think
Um,
yeah. Yes, go
I
Pili.
I agree with. Look, we're laying down very reasonable points, but the fact of the matter is, siguro nga a large number of people aren't doing that. A lot of people don't care. At
Yeah.
least the way social media
Yeah.
portrays it. Then it's another issue, but still, it's a reasonable assumption to see that some people really just don't care about the rules, don't care about their purpose. But sige, siguro to at least try to fix that. Sige nga, what do you guys think? Lay down what you think should be the normal for the better part of the year.
So, number one,
Yes.
like the first thing talaga, just try to keep your work as limited as possible. I know that is such a it's not universal, but that's what's gonna keep most people indoors. And I'm not trying to say that you can't go out because I know a lot of people have to, but if we have to maintain this sense of going forward, especially with how we're in tandem with the whole pandemic, we're not even at a point where the theoretical curve has flattened. We're still at a point where we're
Yeah.
uncertain with how the virus is with people. We haven't even mass tested yet. So
Mass tested.
you know,
Yeah.
right now, number
That's a
one
new
for
issue.
me, keep the distance to a minimum. Even if all the regulations now say 1 meter, and that's fine enough. But because we're so uncertain, number one, let's just try to mitigate the damage. Like, please, we shouldn't have the idea, especially for big businesses, we shouldn't have the idea that we could experiment and see what happens. I really don't subscribe to the fact of having a loss of life just to figure it out. So that's my number one. And to keep it short, my number two is to just continue to be more outspoken and more aware. Because I know how I'll use the word annoying because you obviously you guys know how like so many people are vocal about this, like on Twitter or in your socials. I get that it can be very overbearing just seeing all these people say, "Oh, but the government," but I think that's kind of where our sentiment should be. Because if we don't continue to be as loud as we are, then nothing's gonna happen. Like what you said, Pili, apathy is the trend. And if that continues to be the trend, we're not gonna get anywhere. So I don't know if you guys agree with that, but those my number twos. My two.
Yeah.
Siguro for me lang, I think people should know more like about their priorities. I mean, okay, right now I feel like as much as we want to like see friends or family members and stuff like that, I feel like right now dapat i-prioritize kung ano talaga yung really nagmamatter. Okay, so like let's say when you go out, do you want to go out just because you want to go to the mall, or like do you want to, or like would you prefer na you go out kasi ay kailangan ko ng essentials or like to restock on my groceries, ganyan. I feel like yung decisions kasi natin at the moment does not only affect us but like other people around
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
So if we choose na parang okay, modified DCQ, pwede na lumabas. But does that mean I take advantage of that? I feel like we should still take into consideration na ayun nga, as I've been mentioning, there's still a virus. So, kailangan yung mga decisions natin at this moment sees the bigger picture. So, like, for example, me, I really want to see my friends now. I really want to, hang out and all that. Pero right now, I think it's not on the top of my, it shouldn't be on the top of my priorities. Like right now, okay, it's best to just go out when when needed to, let's say, I don't know, my emergency, or you have to, buy essentials. But other than that, I feel like you just gotta stay. You just gotta
Yeah.
know your priorities, basically.
But that's the thing. That's what Billy is also trying to bring up. Na apathy really is, it's really evident. And even if we keep saying that these people have to decide for themselves or decide for their next decisions, we can't always assure na it's always gonna be right. Because, diba, maybe for them, going to the malls is right because it's gonna, I don't know, help them, deal with, I don't know how it's gonna help them. But then
Huge
the
help.
question here is how do we heal that apathy? Like, how do we deal with that? Like, how do we deal with those people who aren't paying attention, because like what Pili mentioned, there really are a lot of people who are still like that. And I don't know why the implementation of the guidelines still isn't enough. Like that should have been enough
Okay.
already.
Wait, just to clarify things. Okay, at least we know that the fundamental purpose of the government is for the benefit of
Of the
the
people.
population,
Yeah.
diba? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to seriously like to assume that that's embedded in their minds, although what we see in the news and what we hear from them is very contrary to that. But okay, if that's the case, if sige, say in extremes the government is ineffective, then the responsibility falls on the people.
Yeah.
That's why we're a democracy.
Exactly.
Siguro, okay,
Yeah.
in the long run, elect better leaders. But for now, try to follow the rules and try to develop yourselves. Maybe you could be the leader.
In tandem with that,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, guys. We
Continue
can
to
be
be,
heroes, remember?
yeah, continue to be
Okay,
vocal.
Sorry, just to add lang, okay guys, to the government, I just feel like right now, mas prominent sila in terms of like how to handle the whole COVID situation kasi nga, they have more authority and more power. Pero again, like we're a society, kailangan we work together in all honesty. Like even though mas dominant yung like power ng government, that doesn't necessarily mean na okay, like let's just go with whatever the government says. Parang we still have our responsibilities as a citizen, and like what can we do to like better our situation given na may pandemic.
As much as it is our civic responsibility as citizens of the Philippines, again, it realistically, you can't do as much as we think we can, especially in a time like this, to convince the government. But what matters is just the willingness to take those steps to do it. Because even if a lot of
Yeah,
people will
exactly.
say, we can't do anything, it's better than just sitting down and doing nothing, right? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to look out for ourselves and for our family. And I feel as though this is the best way we should approach things naman. So if you guys agree
and
with
I
that.
think that really is our call to action. Like us privileged people, we use that to our advantage. Okay, I'm sorry, but knowing that we are aware of all of this, and we are aware that there are people out there who need our help, then let's use that to our advantage and reach out. And that I think that is the call to action to hear, because after all, not everyone would know nga, like what Pili said. And yun nga, like we have to do our part, we have to do our role, and maybe we should just keep going and like keep exerting the effort that is needed, because again, this is what it's gonna be like for the coming months or even years. And for the past 2 months, we were able to make sacrifices for the community. We were maintaining the social distancing, the use of face masks. And none of this would have been enough if there's still some reckless and selfish people out there, diba? And I think, come to think of it, so far we have been progressing. And I think that's why the government was already able to implement the MECQ. So let's keep that up. And even if there are still some people, for sure, we can't assure, but let's still continue to do what we do. And let's try to preserve and protect them and ourselves as we are transitioning to the GCQ period.
Honestly, now is like really the time to reflect on how we can make progress in like or make everything better in like with what PD said. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, guys, okay, in like in a historical context, humans for me are all about making progress. I mean, okay, guys, wait
Oh my gosh, I learned that also in my C world.
Wait, okay, yeah, exactly,
didn't
guys. When you
know.
think about it, when
This is
you
new
think
to me.
about it, okay, let me give you an example, guys.
Whoa.
During the age of industrial
No, but,
revolution,
okay.
right? People were like, OMG, we have all these resources. What can you do about it? Or like, OMG, we're gonna run out of resources. What can we do? So they started building innovations and machines. Kasi kung hindi, edi grabe siguro mga kabayo pa rin ginagamit natin for all the heavy lifting. And so
kabayo.
Shout out
that
Miss
just
Dane.
goes to show na
What's up?
parang humans always want to progress and make life better. So like right now, that can be applied to our situation na parang okay, let's not be idle. Let's try to make our time productive, enhance our skills, para naman we can contribute to the society.
Take a bath.
All progress.
One day
is
at a
a big-
time.
Only for you.
Yeah, one day at a time.
For you, Pili.
Oh, okay.
Next time, you
Sige
gotta
na.
take a bath.
Next week.
There, but yeah, Aaron said it, and really we have to use this ordeal to help us move forward. Because after all, guys, we're all about progressing. Let's make this better. Let's use it to our advantage. And again, to conclude, before you guys say your final remarks, keep the distance to grow closer, because we can win this battle in that way. You guys wanna say your final remarks before we wrap
Oh, I
it up?
second the motion yun. Ikaw na, Rafi. Ikaw
Thanks.
president na.
Yeah,
Yeah, guys.
and just a disclaimer, these are just our
Oh,
opinions.
yes,
These
yes.
are our
For sure,
recommendations
for
on
sure,
the matter.
guys.
Again,
Touche.
we're not paragons of knowledge
We
here.
are not the models.
So-
We are not the
Paragons,
top.
So
Paragons.
why don't we
Not
The
that.
paragons.
so why don't
guys.
we
Okay,
grow
anyway.
closer to, what did you say, Rafi? Grow closer to get together.
Oh no!
Keep the distance.
Wait,
Grow
what? Wait, no.
closer.
Oh, yeah,
Keep
yeah.
the distance to grow
guys,
closer.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, really, listen to me next time. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, so that was it for our episode. We hope that you guys also get to think about how our new normal is gonna be like. We hope that this sparks discussions amongst yourselves, amongst your Zoom calls, your dinner tables with your families, because we
Yeah.
know it's really a substantial topic to talk about. So thank you guys for staying until the end.